The perfect day that I tried to ruin. Part 1, the toast that should have ended it all. Let me start by saying, I didn't mean for the groom to end up bleeding. Okay, maybe a little. Not from the neck though. That part was unexpected. Anyway. Back to the beginning. It was 10:07 a.m. on a Saturday, and I was already halfway through my second mimosa, silently judging the bride's makeup while pretending to be her best friend. I wasn't, of course. Not anymore. We used to be close, late-night calls, tequila truth sessions, matching tattoos, hers hidden, mine not. But all that changed when she met him. I knew he was bad news the second I saw his shoes, expensive but soulless. Like he Googled what do rich husbands wear and ordered the top result. And from that moment, I made a decision, if she wasn't going to protect herself from him, someone had to. Even if it meant a few bumps along the aisle. So, what's your toast going to be about? She asked, dabbing blush on her already perfect cheeks. I smiled, sweet and sharp. Oh, I have a few surprises. She laughed. God, I love your dark humor. She had no idea. The plan was simple, ruin the wedding, save the girl. Make it look like karma, like fate. Nothing that could be traced back to me. Just enough chaos to make her question if this guy was really her forever. My first move? Easy. I switched the groom's custom cufflinks for a pair I'd had engraved last week. Tiny, elegant letters, I cheated. Would she notice during the ceremony? Doubtful. But later, when they unwrapped gifts or stripped down in the honeymoon suite, boom. But that was just the appetizer. The real sabotage started with the seating chart. I accidentally flipped 2 name cards, her ultra-conservative aunt and his ex-girlfriend. Same table. Opposite political ends. A guaranteed disaster. Except, they hit it off. Apparently, wine trumps ideology. Who knew? Strike 1. Then came the vows. I'd hacked into the projector's slideshow and swapped in a photo, just one. A blurry shot from 2 years ago. Her fiancé, mid-makeout, with someone who was very much not the bride. It should have flashed for half a second before anyone could kill the slideshow. But instead, applause. Turns out, the crowd thought it was a joke. Haha, look at Brad playing drunk college Casanova. Classic. Even the bride laughed. You were such a mess back then. Strike 2. I needed a new play. The bouquet toss was in 30 minutes. I had a vial of itching powder and a plan, sprinkle it inside the bouquet ribbon, watch her scratch her way through the first dance. Only. I mixed up the bouquets. She threw the fake one. To a child. The flower girl. Now she was crying and covered in hives. And I was the one getting blamed for it. Not publicly, but I felt the glare from the bride's mom like a laser beam through my skull. Strike 3. Or maybe 4. Still, I had one last chance. My speech. The toast. I stood, glass in hand, heart pounding. Ladies and gentlemen, I said. You don't know me, but I know them. And I have a few things to say. Part 2, the toast. And I have a few things to say. I was on me. The reception hall, moments ago filled with clinking glasses and tipsy laughter, went dead quiet. Even the DJ stopped mid-track, like the drama had better bass. I cleared my throat, glanced at the bride, my best friend since 8th grade, and the man she thought she loved. And I started lying. I've known Marissa since middle school. We've seen each other through everything, braces, heartbreaks, those terrible thrift shop goth phases, remember that, Riss? Laughter. Good. Keep it warm. Reel them in. She's always been the strong one. The one who knew what she wanted. Except maybe when she thought she wanted bangs. Or when she thought Brad was just a fling. That got a few oohs. Brad turned visibly red. Marissa shot me a look, half careful and half go on. I smiled sweetly. But you know what? Even when I doubted him, Brad proved me wrong. Total lie. He proved he could commit. That he was willing to change. That he was ready to be a husband. And that's not easy. Pause. Sip. Wait for it. But most of all, he showed that a man can keep secrets. Someone coughed. Brad stiffened. A flash of something behind his eyes, panic? Guilt? Nah, probably gas. You see, love isn't just about honesty. It's about forgiveness. About accepting each other's flaws. Even the big ones. A silence dropped, heavy and electric. Marissa tilted her head. What are you trying to say? I leaned in. I'm saying, if your fiancé can forgive himself, maybe you can, too. It was a wild gamble. I didn't know what he'd done exactly, I just hoped he'd done something. And judging by his clenched jaw and the slight tremble in Marissa's hand, I was getting warmer. Then it happened. A woman at table 7 stood up. Red dress. Black hair. Definitely not family. You know what, she blurted. Screw it. I wasn't going to say anything, but since the door's open. Brad whispered no. No, 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 no. Too late. I'm the one from the slideshow. Gasps. I didn't know he was engaged. We dated last year. For 3 months. He said he was single. Marissa's face drained of all color. She dropped her champagne glass. It shattered like my dignity. Brad shot up. She's lying. I didn't, we weren't. You sent me poetry, Brad, the woman yelled. Bad poetry. About my eyes. It was chaos. The crowd erupted. Marissa stormed out. Brad chased after her, tripping over a chair. The woman in red started crying. I sat down slowly, heart pounding like a bass drum in a funeral parade. For the first time that day, one of my plans had actually worked. And yet, it didn't feel like victory. Because as I watched Marissa vanish through the ballroom doors, I realized something. She wasn't running from Brad. She was running from me. Part 3, The Aftermath. The room was still buzzing, a strange mix of anger, shock, and nervous laughter. But all I could hear was the sound of my own heartbeat, thudding like a war drum. I glanced around, trying to blend in. But the looks I was getting, the glares from the bride's mother, the whispers from the guests, weren't exactly what I had envisioned. I was hoping for chaos, but I hadn't planned on it feeling like this. I took a deep breath. Okay. Plan B. I could still salvage this. I stood up, smoothing my dress, and tried to make my way out of the room, but I wasn't fast enough. His mother, a woman whose wrinkles seemed to tell the story of a life spent on the edge of an aneurysm, was already standing in my path. You, she said, pointing a shaky finger at me. What the hell did you just do? I swallowed, my throat suddenly dry. I think it's better if we... No, she snapped, grabbing my arm and pulling me back toward the center of the room. What the hell do you think you're playing at? People had stopped whispering. Now, they were all staring. Eyes wide. Silence stretched longer than it should have, and I could feel the sweat pooling under my arms. I opened my mouth to speak, but the words didn't come. There was no easy excuse. No perfect line I could feed to get out of this mess. I started, but then I saw her. Marissa. She stood in the doorway, her back to me, her shoulders slumped. She wasn't crying. She wasn't angry. She was blank. Hollow. Brad was talking to her, his voice desperate, but she didn't even acknowledge him. She just turned and walked away. The room seemed to exhale collectively, like the tension had been released. Then, slowly, the people around me began to disperse, the drama fading into uncomfortable silence. I could hear snippets of conversation, but it felt distant, like I was underwater. Everyone was talking about me. They were all talking about me. I turned to leave, but the door slammed shut before I could reach it. The last person I expected to see standing there was Brad. He was panting, his face pale and drenched with sweat, his eyes wide with disbelief. He didn't look angry, just scared. He started, then cut himself off, shaking his head like he was trying to find the right words. But the words weren't there. What did you do? I just stared at him, heart hammering in my chest. I thought I'd be proud of what I'd done. That this would be my moment. But it felt like I was staring at the wreckage of something I didn't fully understand. I thought you two weren't right for each other, I muttered, suddenly feeling very small. Brad took a step forward, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. Why this? Why ruin everything? I didn't know how to answer. Maybe because I wanted to be the hero. Maybe because I thought I could save her. Maybe because I didn't like the way he looked at her. Or maybe I was just sick of being invisible in her life. I wanted her to see you for what you really are, I whispered. I wanted her to know the truth. Brad froze. His eyes flickered toward the hallway where Marissa had just walked off. She doesn't know everything, does she? It was like a slap to the face. What do you mean? His expression darkened, and for the first time, I realized just how much I didn't know about his side of things. Do you know why she really came back to me? He asked. Do you have any idea what she's been hiding from you? I felt a sudden rush of heat in my chest. Don't try to play me like that. I know exactly what I'm doing here. No, you don't, he said, stepping closer, lowering his voice. You have no idea what's really going on. You don't know the whole story. Part 4, the truth I never wanted to know. His words hung in the air like a thunderstorm on the horizon. You don't know the whole story. I could barely breathe. Brad was standing too close now, and the scent of his cologne, mixed with sweat and desperation, was almost suffocating. I wanted to push him away, but something about the way he said it, like he had just opened a door I wasn't ready to walk through, kept me frozen. What do you mean? I asked, my voice almost a whisper. I didn't want to know. I really didn't want to know. But the curiosity, no, the need, was too strong to resist. Brad's eyes flickered to the hallway where Marissa had disappeared, his hand tightening around the doorframe like he was holding himself back from following her. You think she's perfect, don't you? That she's some kind of fairy tale princess, and you're the jealous stepsister trying to ruin it all. I opened my mouth to argue, but he cut me off. You're wrong, he said, his voice barely audible. She's not perfect. And neither am I. But I never asked for this wedding, this thing you think we have. It was all a lie. I felt like the floor was falling out beneath me, and I grabbed the doorframe to steady myself. What are you talking about? Brad sighed, his hands running through his hair in frustration. She's not marrying me for love. She's marrying me because she's scared. Because she thinks she has to. Scared of what? I asked, suddenly feeling like I was standing on the edge of something I didn't want to see. He met my gaze, and for the first time, I saw something vulnerable in his eyes. Of being alone. Of being nothing. He paused, looking away. She thought I could save her. I couldn't breathe. All this time, I had been trying to protect her, trying to make her see the truth about him. But now, standing in front of me, I realized something that shattered everything I'd believed. I was the one who didn't know the truth. I didn't want to hurt her, he continued, his voice barely above a whisper. But I never knew how to tell her. She was so desperate for the fairy tale, I couldn't tell her the truth. The truth about what? My voice cracked. About what? Brad stepped back, his face twisted with regret. I've been hiding something. Something she doesn't know. Something no one knows. I felt a cold wave wash over me, but I couldn't pull away. I've been seeing someone else, he admitted. For the last 6 months. My heart stopped. What? He looked away, ashamed. It wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't mean for it to get this far. But she's different. She understands me in ways Marissa doesn't. Who? I whispered, my voice shaking. Who is she? Brad opened his mouth, but no sound came out. He closed it, swallowing hard. I took a step back, trying to process what he was saying. You've been cheating on her? He nodded. Yes. And I hate myself for it. But I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if I can. The world felt like it was spinning out of control. My hands trembled at my sides. I had done all this. I had gone to such lengths to expose him, to make him look like the bad guy, but the truth was even worse than I could have imagined. I felt like a fool. Suddenly, the door to the reception hall opened behind me, and Marissa's mother stepped in, her face pale and tight with anger. Brad, she snapped, what are you doing in here? I turned to look at her, still reeling from the bomb Brad had just dropped. She's gone, you know, she said, her voice low. She didn't just run away from you. She ran away from all of us. I felt a jolt of panic, like a tight knot in my chest. What do you mean? She's gone to the one place we always told her she shouldn't go, Marissa's mother said, her eyes sharp and accusing. To the one person she's always said she'd never turn to. I felt my stomach drop. Who? Marissa's mother didn't answer. She just turned and walked out of the room, leaving me with a new, terrifying realization. Marissa had left. And whatever happened next, whether I wanted it or not, I was part of the reason why. Part 5, The Unseen Consequences. I couldn't move. I was frozen in place, trying to process what I had just heard, trying to piece everything together. The room felt smaller now, suffocating. I could still hear the faint clinking of glasses and low murmurs from the reception, but it was all distant, like I was trapped in a dream. Marissa had left. She didn't just run away from Brad, she ran away from all of us. And where did she go? I turned to Brad, my thoughts racing. What did she mean? Who did she go to? But Brad wasn't listening anymore. He was staring at the door, his expression one of pure horror. His chest was heaving, as though he couldn't catch his breath. I have to go find her, he mumbled, as if talking to himself. I have to fix this. I have to. I grabbed his arm before he could move. Brad, wait. Don't, just tell me what's going on. Please. He yanked his arm away, his eyes wild with panic. You don't understand. You don't know what she's really been going through. What do you mean? What's been going on? My voice was rising now, the urgency, the confusion, all piling on top of each other. What's she been hiding from me? Brad's face twisted with frustration and guilt. She's been lying to everyone. Lying to you. To herself. I took a step back, my mind scrambling to keep up. What the hell does that mean? Marissa, Brad paused, looking like he didn't want to say the words, like they were a secret he'd been keeping even from himself. She's been in a relationship with someone else for the past year. My heart skipped a beat. What? Brad looked away, unable to meet my eyes. She wasn't just in love with me. She was in love with someone else. I felt like the floor was falling out from under me. This was too much. It was too much to wrap my mind around. So, you weren't the only one lying? I whispered, my throat suddenly tight. Brad didn't respond, but I didn't need him to. His silence said everything. She was with him before she was with you. She was never fully yours. I stumbled backward, a feeling of dread settling in my stomach. Why are you telling me this now? He didn't answer right away. Instead, He ran a hand through his hair again, looking torn, conflicted. Because I think you need to know the whole truth, he finally said, his voice low. And because I think you might be the only one who can help her now. I shook my head, the words stinging. Help her? After everything I've done to her? You think I can fix this? I'm not asking you to fix her, he said. I'm asking you to save her. Before it's too late. And then he was gone. I stood there in the empty room, the weight of his words pressing down on me. How had everything gotten so out of control? I had wanted to protect her, to make sure she didn't make a huge mistake, but now? Now, I didn't even know what the real mistake was. I tried to shake off the doubt. I needed to find Marissa. I needed to fix this. Whatever this was. And then it hit me, the one thing I hadn't considered in all my scheming, all my sabotage, all my so-called protection. What if I wasn't the one who needed to save her? What if I was the one who had ruined everything? The truth was, I didn't know what was real anymore. Part 6, The Search. I wasn't sure where I was going, but my feet were moving before my brain could catch up. I had to find her. Marissa had run off, and the truth, whatever that was slipping further and further out of reach. Every thought in my head was a knot of confusion, anger, and regret. I hadn't planned for any of this. I hadn't thought about the consequences of my actions. All I knew was that I had to make it right. I pushed through the crowd, ignoring the questioning looks from people still lingering at the reception. Everyone knew something was wrong. The atmosphere in the hall had shifted from celebration to tension, from joy to uncertainty. I didn't care. I had bigger problems now. I reached the back door of the venue, the one that led out to the alley where the cars were parked. The cool night air hit me like a slap in the face. I needed to think, to breathe, to get a handle on this mess. But as I stepped into the shadows of the alley, I heard something. A voice. Soft, almost a whisper. Marissa? I stopped dead in my tracks, my heart pounding. There she was. Sitting on the curb, her back to me, hunched over. She looked so small, so fragile in that moment. She didn't turn around when she heard my footsteps, didn't acknowledge my presence at all. It was like she didn't even care that I had found her. I took a tentative step forward. Marissa. She finally looked up, her eyes empty, hollow. You found me. The words cut through me, sharper than I expected. I didn't know what to say. All I wanted to do was pull her into my arms and tell her that everything would be okay, that we could fix this, that she didn't have to go through this alone. But I couldn't. Not anymore. I knelt beside her. I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. I thought I was helping you. She shook her head slowly, her gaze distant. You don't understand. You never did. Then help me understand, I begged, my voice breaking. Please, just tell me what's going on. I don't know what to fix. I don't know what to do. She looked at me then, really looked at me, as if seeing me for the first time. And for a moment, I saw something that resembled hope in her eyes. But it faded almost as quickly as it appeared. I didn't come here for answers, she said quietly, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. I came here because I couldn't live with the lies anymore. Not the lies I've been telling everyone else, but the lies I've been telling myself. I felt my chest tighten. What do you mean? Her voice wavered as she spoke, the words slipping out like confessions she hadn't meant to share. I was always afraid. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of not being good enough. So I clung to the first person who made me feel like I mattered, Brad. She said his name like it tasted bitter in her mouth. But I never really loved him. Not the way I thought I did. I swallowed hard, trying to wrap my mind around her words. Then, why did you marry him? I don't know. Maybe because I was afraid of being empty. Afraid of living in a world where everyone else had their perfect little lives, and I was stuck in this this mess. She stood up suddenly, her eyes flashing with a mix of anger and pain. You don't get it. I'm not the perfect bride. I'm not the perfect friend. I'm not even the perfect person. And you can't fix that. No one can. I stood up too, feeling like I was losing her all over again. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm trying to help you. Help me, she laughed bitterly, shaking her head. You can't help me. You've never even seen who I really am. I felt like the ground had just been ripped out from under me. All this time, all this effort to expose the truth, to get her to see Brad for who he really was, and I'd never once thought about what she wanted. What she needed. I'm sorry, Marissa. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I've been so caught up in my own jealousy, my own insecurity, that I never even considered what you might be feeling. She looked at me, her eyes softening for just a moment. You were never the problem, Lisa. You were just trying to protect me. The problem is, I don't even know who I am anymore. Her words were like a slap to the face. How had I gotten it all so wrong? I can't fix this, she continued, her voice quiet now. I can't fix me. And I can't fix what I've done. For the first time, I realized that maybe neither of us could fix what had already been broken. Part 7, The Reckoning. I stood there in the cold night air, feeling the weight of Marissa's words pressing down on me, suffocating me. I can't fix this. She kept saying it like a mantra, and each time she said it, it felt more real, more final. I wanted to scream, to tell her that she was wrong, that we could fix everything, that we could still make this right. But I couldn't. I was out of words. Out of hope. Out of options. Marissa, I began, my voice faltering. Please, don't say that. You're not alone in this. We can. She shook her head slowly, cutting me off. You don't understand, Lisa. You never did. This wasn't about Brad. Or about me and you. It was about something I can't even explain. Something I've been running from for so long. She turned away from me then, her body stiff, her shoulders tense. You don't know what it's like to constantly feel like you're not enough. That no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, you'll always fall short. I felt my throat tighten, tears welling up in my eyes. Marissa, You think I'm weak, she interrupted, her voice rising now, trembling with frustration. That I'm some poor, broken girl who needs fixing. But I'm not. I'm not. And I can't keep pretending that everything's okay when it's not. I swallowed hard, the lump in my throat thickening. I never thought you were weak. I wanted to protect you. I wanted to help you. And I didn't want your help, she spat, her voice sharp. I didn't want you to fight my battles for me. I didn't want you to fix my life, because the truth is, Lisa, I don't know if I even want to fix myself. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, and I took a step back, not sure how to respond. This wasn't the Marissa I had fought so hard for, the Marissa I'd tried to protect. This was someone else, someone I didn't recognize. Do you know what's been happening? She asked suddenly, her voice lower now, almost eerily calm. Do you know what I've been hiding from everyone, including myself? I didn't answer. I couldn't. All I could do was watch as she took a deep breath, as if steeling herself for something she had been holding inside for far too long. I've been pretending. I've been pretending to be this perfect, happy, confident person. But inside? I'm broken. And I've been trying to fix myself by using other people. By using Brad. By using you. Her voice cracked, and I could see the tears welling up in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. Everything I thought I understood about her, about this entire situation, had just crumbled. I've been so scared of facing myself, she continued, her voice soft now, as though she was finally speaking a truth she couldn't hide from anymore. Of facing the fact that I'm not who I want to be. That I'm not who anyone thinks I am. I stepped closer to her, my voice trembling. Marissa, please, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here. I will help you. She turned to face me then, her eyes searching mine. No, Lisa. You don't get it. You can't help me. No one can. The silence between us felt heavy, suffocating. I could hear the distant sounds of the reception still going on inside, the music, the laughter, the celebration. But it felt miles away now. Like we were standing on an entirely different plane of existence, where nothing made sense anymore. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do anymore, Marissa whispered, her voice barely audible. I don't know who I am. And that's when it hit me. The reason she had been pushing everyone away, the reason she had acted the way she did, was because she had never truly faced herself. She had spent so much time trying to fit into a mold of what others expected her to be that she had lost sight of who she was at all. The real Marissa, the one hiding behind the walls she had built, was someone I had never even known. I wanted to say something, anything that would fix this, but the words felt inadequate. There was nothing I could say to take away the pain she was feeling. Nothing I could do to heal the wounds she had been carrying for so long. And that's when I realized something that made my blood run cold. This wasn't just about Brad. This wasn't just about me. It wasn't about the wedding, or the drama, or the sabotage. It was about her. The real her. The one she had been hiding from everyone, including herself. But was it too late? Had she already given up on finding the truth? Before I could say anything else, I heard the faint sound of footsteps approaching from behind. I turned around, my heart pounding, only to see Brad standing there in the shadows. His face was pale, his eyes wide with a mix of confusion and desperation. Marissa, he said softly, taking a step toward her. Please. I need to talk to you. We need to talk. She turned to face him, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. The air between them was thick with unresolved tension. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice barely audible. But I don't think I can talk to you right now. Brad's expression faltered, but he nodded slowly, as if he understood, even though I could tell it was tearing him apart. And then, just like that, Marissa turned and walked away into the night, disappearing into the shadows. And I was left standing there, helpless. Lost. Part 8, The Revelation. I stood there in the cold, staring at the empty space where Marissa had just been. The sounds of the reception were still distant, like they belonged to another world. My heart was pounding, and the weight of everything that had happened, everything I had done, crushed me. I thought I had been helping her. I thought I was doing the right thing. But all this time, all my actions, they had only pushed her further away. And now, I was standing in the ruins of what I had tried to protect. Brad was still standing behind me, looking just as lost as I felt. He opened his mouth to say something, but no words came out. The silence between us was deafening, the kind of silence that feels like it's screaming at you, like it's begging for answers. I don't know what to do, I whispered, my voice cracking. I don't know what happened. Brad stepped closer, his face full of regret and confusion. Neither do I. But I think I understand now. I think I understand why she's doing this. I turned to face him, my eyes burning with the sting of unshed tears. You do? He nodded, his expression somber. She's scared, Lisa. She's terrified. She's been terrified of who she really is for so long, she couldn't face it. She thought she had to be perfect for everyone, for me, for you. But the truth is, she doesn't know who she is anymore. And maybe that's something we both have to accept. I shook my head, feeling the weight of his words pressing on me. So what now? What do we do? Brad didn't have an answer. None of us did. I turned back to the alley, where the night felt even darker now, as though the world was closing in on me. I thought about everything that had happened, all the little decisions, all the misunderstandings. I thought about Marissa and Brad and everything I had done to try to control the situation, to manipulate things into what I thought was best. But now, looking back, I realized that none of that mattered. Marissa wasn't some puzzle to solve. She wasn't some problem to fix. She was a person. A person with her own flaws, her own fears, her own mistakes. And maybe, just maybe, we all were. I was about to speak again when I heard the sound of footsteps behind me, rapid and urgent. I turned, expecting to see Brad or even some of the guests coming out to look for us. But it wasn't either of them. It was Marissa. She was back. Her eyes were red from crying, but she was standing tall, her posture straight, like she had made a decision. A hard one. Her hands were trembling slightly, but she was here, and that was enough. "Lisa," she said, her voice quiet but firm. "I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago." I stepped toward her, my heart in my throat. "What is it, Marissa?" She took a deep breath, steadying herself. "I didn't come here tonight to ruin anything. I didn't come here to hurt anyone. But I came to realize something, about myself. And about you." My pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then met my gaze directly, her eyes clear. "I've been hiding from the truth. I've been hiding from myself, from everyone around me. And I've used you, used Brad, used everything to try to escape who I really am. But I can't do that anymore." I stood there, not sure how to respond, not sure where any of this was going. But I was listening. I've been so afraid of being alone, of not being enough, that I lost sight of what I really want. I tried to sabotage things because I thought that was the only way to stay in control, to stop myself from getting hurt. But I've hurt you. And I've hurt Brad. And I've hurt myself. Her words hung in the air, thick and heavy, like a confession she hadn't meant to say but couldn't take back. I could see the tears in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Instead, she wiped them away with the back of her hand and took another step forward. "I know I can't fix everything. I can't undo what I've done. But I have to try to be better. For me. And for you." I felt a wave of emotion hit me all at once. All the tension, all the fear, all the bitterness, it was dissolving in that one moment, like everything was coming to an end, like the story had finally found its resolution. "And Brad?" I asked, barely able to speak. She looked over at him, standing silently in the background, watching her with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. "I don't know what will happen with him. I don't know if we can fix what's broken between us. But I can't keep pretending. I need to figure out who I am first." There was a long silence before Brad spoke. "I understand," he said quietly. "I really do. I've been so focused on fixing you, Marissa, that I didn't stop to think about what you really needed. What you really wanted." And just like that, in the silence that followed, everything seemed to fall into place. We weren't all broken. We weren't all beyond saving. We were just lost. And maybe that was okay. Maybe, for the first time, we didn't have to fix everything. Maybe we just had to accept the messiness of it all. "I'm sorry, Lisa," Marissa said again, her voice steady now, more confident. "I'm sorry for everything I did. For everything I put you through. But I need to do this for myself now." I nodded slowly, not sure if I could forgive her, not sure if I wanted to. But I knew one thing for sure, we all had a long road ahead of us. And maybe, just maybe, we could find our way through it together. But for now, the most important thing was that we had stopped running. And in that, there was some kind of peace. The end.